उमापति महादेव की जय। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुदेवाय नमः। We are seeing one additional name of Puja Gurudev every night. We'll chant some of the previous names and we'll chant one more tonight. Om Jiva Brahmaikya Vide Namaha.
Om Jiva Brahmaikya Vide Namaha.
Om Jivan Muktaya Namaha.
Om Jivan Muktaya Namaha.
Om Jirna Mandirodharakaya Namaha.
Om Jirna Mandirodharakaya Namaha.
Om Tapovana Shishyaya Namaha.
Om Tapovana Shishyaya Namaha.
Om Tapanashanaya Namaha.
Om Tapanashanaya Namaha.
Om Tejasvine Namaha.
Om Tejasvine Namaha.
Om Tirthaswarupaya Namaha.
Om Tirthaswarupaya Namaha.
Om Dehatitaya Namaha.
Om Dehatitaya Namaha.
Om Dvandvatitaya Namaha.
Om Dvandvatitaya Namaha.
Om Dridhanishchayaya Namaha.
Om Dridhanishchayaya Namaha.
Om Dharma Samsthapakaya Namaha.
Om Dharma Samsthapakaya Namaha.
Om Dhimate Namaha.
Om Dhimate Namaha.
Om Dhiraya Namaha.
Om Dhiraya Namaha.
Om Dhairyapradaya Namaha.
Om Dhairyapradaya Namaha.
Om Dhairyapradaya Namaha.
Om Dhairyapradaya Namaha.
Dhairyaprada. Dhairyaprada is called. And last night we saw Dhiraya. Dhira. In Sanskrit, the words are formed very nicely, just like in Trini language. You ever hear in Trinidad language, people call other people boy, right? Right? Where you say boy? Boy. But long ago, they used to change that boy a little bit, called boy. You ever hear that? Boy. So they just changed boy a little bit to become boy. And in Trinidad, we just change all them name into some other little thing. We're good at that. So boy become boy. And boy become Boise. And boy become Boya. You know all them kind of name, na? All of them come from boy only. Because you never hear a girl named Boya. Only a boy will name Boya. Boyo, Boya, Boise, Boy. All from? Yeah, boy. And boys, these days boys. No. In Sanskrit, that is called Tadhita Pratyaya. That's a big word from boy. Tadhita Pratyaya. What they do, they take one word and they make many words from that in Sanskrit language. So you see, that's where we get the habit from. We're Trinidadians get the habit from, from all this Sanskrit and all. Because we come with that type of language. So anyway, from Dhira word, yesterday which we saw, name of Gurudev, Dhira, one who has courage, right? The pratyaya, one pratyaya of that Dhira word is Dhairya. Say from Dhira, Dhairya. Like from Kunti, Kaunteya, Arjuna's name, like that. So from Dhira, Dhairya, today Dhairya now, this name today. Dhairya Prada. Prada means one who gives, one who instills. What? Dhira, which we saw yesterday, courage. Not only he had courage, but he instilled courage in everybody's heart. That is and nobody knows that thing better than I do. I tell you, all through my high school years, O levels and up, sometimes they call you in front of the class. Okay, read something there. Well, I can't even read. What to talk about if I have to answer some question? I couldn't even read that. If I have to read that thing, somehow my vision is to disappear. Now when I look at the paper, I see in blank. Couldn't even read something in front of the class. What to talk about? Speak. And look today, I speak in all about. Not only that, people have called me to speak to. And answer question. But I feel like amazing. So before I met my guru, when I met my guru, I was in university. And that was going on that time. That tutorial assistant to the professor will ask me something. I know the answer to, but I can't answer. Even if I know the answer, I couldn't answer. And today, before he asked the question, I could answer. How this guru is able to instill in a student so much of courage and so much of strength and all that is amazing. Only he knows how he does that, Dhairya Pradaya Namaha. One who instills courage, strength and power in people. If you came in contact with him and you didn't get some of that, something wrong with you. It's like you come holding an umbrella over your head. How you get the sunshine? How you get vitamin D? You can't get. If you open your heart and it's there, he will flood it with courage and Dhairya Pradaya Namaha. He was the one who was able to instill courage in anybody. An amazing guru. Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda. All right. We'll see one more name tomorrow like we're doing all the nights. We're seeing one additional name. Now, we have reached chapter 7, Saptamaha Adhyayaha. Saptama Adhyayaha. Shashto Saptama. There. When we left it last night, I told you, Bhagavan Shri Krishna he tells Arjuna, I am going to give you Jnana and Vijnana. Knowledge and wisdom, both, not just one. Knowledge and wisdom. And so he goes on to start his discourse. Now what is that? The discourse is on, it is called the lower Prakriti and the higher Prakriti. He says, he has two. No, look here. That is only also a manner of speaking. And there's a higher form of God and a lower form of God. That is only from our perspective, from where we stand. You see, at a certain level. No, you see, I'll give you a very simple example. If you take a piece of stone, right, big piece of rock, and you cut it in half, and one half of this rock you make a murti of Ram, right? and the other half of the rock, you make a murti of Ravan. Right? Now, you put the both of them here. Ram and Ravan. And people come in with their arti and thing. Who they go to arti for? Well, nobody would want to be seen doing arti for Ravan, isn't it? No, from an ordinary level, if you have two murti, Ravan and Ram standing here, people will come from our ordinary level. Certainly we go to murti, arti for Ram. Who wants to do arti for Ravan? Om Ravanaya Namaha. Anyway, you have any mantra like that? Om Ramaya Namaha we hear, isn't it? Who you ever make any mantra of Ravana and all? So, but look here, remember what I said in the beginning. It was one stone that you cut in two. Now, from that deeper level of stone, both of them are one and same, isn't it? From the deeper level, if you look at stone only, they both are one and same. Now, from our ordinary level, when we come from the front of the temple here, and we reach up here and we see Ram and Ravan. So at the transactional level, what you call in Sanskrit, at the Vyavaharik level, means our own ordinary transactional level, when we see two of them, we are going to do no arti for Ravan. Who wants to do arti for Ravan? So, from the transactional level, there is a difference. From the fundamental level, there is no difference. You get that? So in Sanskrit, there are technical things. At the transactional level, that they call as Vyavaharik Satta. Vyavaharik level. And at the fundamental level, that we call a Paramarthik Satta. They're just Sanskrit words, but those are technical things. And the whole world is like that actually. That's why I'm saying it's a technical thing. That is, the whole world is like that. So Bhagavan is saying, I have a higher Prakriti and a lower Prakriti. That is only from our Vyavaharik ordinary level. From a fundamental level, Bhagavan's higher Prakriti and lower Prakriti, they are one and. You understand that? You have to go on learning Vedanta like this, the Upanishad and Gita and all. This is the teaching. Only at an ordinary level, they look different and all. Ram and Ravan are looking different there, but if you go down deeper, it's both came from the same stone. So here also, what we call a Jagat, this whole Jagat which you are seeing, world in front of us, all the cognizable world. This is called as Bhagavan's Apara Prakriti, lower Prakriti. And Bhagavan's higher Prakriti is he himself, his own nature. But at a deeper level, they are one and same. That's why you see Tulsidas ji has written, you all have heard. Ramachandra ki jai. Tulsidas says the whole world is Ram. See, because Tulsidas ji has transcended. See, like when you come here, see Ram Ravan. That is form. But you transcend the form and you go to the fundamental nature, that is stone. That stone doesn't have any form of Ram and Ravana. A stone is stone. At the transactional level, there is form. So Tulsidas has transcended all forms and he has gone deeper and he discovered that the whole world is made up of Ram. Therefore, he writes this Chaupai, which is so famous. And this is said in all the, here itself, just now it will come again. Vasudeva Sarvamiti, in the same chapter, 7th chapter. All this is Vasudeva. Sarvam, everything, is the Lord. So that is from the deeper level. Right? So, that is what we're talking about from the deeper level. So the Lord is everything. Now suddenly you don't start acting, you're living at this level but acting at that level. Eh? When any donkey passing in the road, you catch him and do arti. He is Bhagwan also. So it's because God is everything, and God is roti and God is book. So better eat the book. It is true, God is roti and God is book and God is everything, right? But you can't eat book. Huh? So, understand the deeper level, but the world in which you are living, don't go on acting in as though that the deeper level causes you to act. It is something to understand, not to act on. Something for you to understand. That is all. Yeah. So now, Bhagwan is telling now, we have to see from number 6, we'll chant. His higher Prakriti and his lower Prakriti, which we talked about, means this whole world and he himself. The two together is there, which makes up everything. Everything in the universe. See, this is what a very nice portion of Bhagavad Gita, a very famous portion of Bhagavad Gita. These few verses say. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama,
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 Etaryoni Bhutani Sarvani Tyupadharaya,
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama,
Aham Kritsasya Jagatah Prabhava Pralaya Sthatha,
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama,
Matta Parataram Nanyat Kinchedasthi Dhananjaya,
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama,
Mai Sarvamidam Protam Sutre Mani Ganaiva,
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama,
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama,
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama,
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama,
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Etad yonini bhutani sarvani iti upatharaya. You understand that all the things which we see in the world is a product of Bhagwan's lower nature and higher nature. That is all. His higher nature and lower nature coming together has fashioned this whole universe. And another way to say that is in the second line. He says, Aham Krishnasya Jagataha Prabhava Pralayasthatha. I am the one from whom this whole universe comes and into whom this whole universe dissolves. Like waves coming from the ocean. All the waves come from the same ocean and they dissolve back into the same ocean. In the very same way, Bhagavan is like an infinite ocean of pure existence. And all things emerge from that ocean of pure existence and they stay for a little while. Because a wave also stays for a little while, isn't it? When the wave comes there, it stays for a little, then and those surfers and all take a little ride and thing. But the wave doesn't stay forever, isn't it? In the very same way, in this whole universe, all things are emerging, becoming manifest from Bhagavan, and again they are merging into, emerging and merging. So, this Lord is infinite and eternal, and things are coming for a little while and they are going. Coming and going. Now, you know that. We all came here, we all go too, isn't it? Everybody will go. I mean, nobody will stay here forever. Good thing. Isn't it? Can you imagine if everybody should stay and never go? There would have been no place on the earth. Right now, in big cities like Chicago and different cities across America and all, they have no place to bury people. So they're not selling any space in the cemetery like this anymore. Now they're selling space like this. The coffin can't lie down, he has to stand up. Because I take less space now. So they stand up the coffin. So the fella can't rest in peace again. Because to rest in peace, he had to go so. He can't rest, he had to stand up there now. And I can't say he had to stand up for the rest of his life too. He had to just stand up, right? I used to remember, I just say that, I didn't say for the rest of his life. Anyway, so now everything that comes, it manifests in this universe, it stays for a little while and then becomes unmanifest again, dissolves, but doesn't get lost. When a wave comes out from the ocean, that water, let us say, 1 ton of water makes that wave, right? 1 ton of water comes and makes that wave, and then it dissolves. That 1 ton of water is not wasted, it's not lost, it is still there. So in this universe, it is constant. Nothing is gained or nothing is lost. Everything is there. Bhagavan is infinite and is always there. And things manifest from Bhagavan and again dissolve into Bhagavan. So, Aham Krishnasya Jagataha Prabhavaha Pralayasthatha. Means things arise from me and again they dissolve in me. And they stay for a while. Tatha means they stay for a little while. Sthiti. Tathaya means sthiti. So, he said, other than me, matta in the next verse. Matta, we chanted already, these 2 verses. Matta parataram na anyat kinchit asti, O Dhananjaya, O Arjuna. Other than me, there is nothing in this universe. That means to say what? This Bhagavad Gita teaches the philosophical idea of oneness. There is only one thing in this universe. That one thing is God, Ishvara. The same thing Tulsidas is telling there, Siya Rama mai sab jaga jani. So Ramayana and Gita actually they are teaching same thing. So there is only one thing in the universe and that is God. You see, just like you could take clay and make so many objects, right? But the number of objects that you can make from clay, those numbers will be finite. You could only make certain things from clay. You can't make everything from clay. Like, can you make air from clay? Take some clay and make some air, let me see. If you say you could do that, there is only hot air. You really can't do that. So, you can't make air. See, so clay can only make, you could take clay and make a pot. You could take clay and make a dog, like that. You could make certain things, but you can't make everything. Take clay and make a thought. How you could make a thought? Take clay and make happiness. You can't. Those are what you call intangible things, you see? So you can't make take clay and make them. So you could make only tangible things. But Bhagwan is such, out of Bhagwan we could make anything. Because Bhagwan is existence. And out of existence you could make, because the thought exists or not, happiness exists or not, the air exists or not, everything exists. So you can make anything out of existence, which is Bhagwan. Satchit Anand, the Prabhu, the Lord. Sat means existence. So out of existence you can make anything. That is the idea. So he says, other than me, matta parataram na anyat kinchid asti. There is nothing other than me, beyond me. I am the end all and be all. Right? Nothing beyond me, Bhagwan says. O Dhananjaya, Mai sarvamidam protam sutra maniganaiva. Oh, this whole world is woven out of me. You know, like, most wonderful thing I'll tell you. You know, sometimes women have this nice art of making crochet. They take thread. I don't know what. Something like that, right? So, women like to do this type of thing. And knitting. And two old ladies gone in a Chinese restaurant. And they sit down. And the waiter bring plate and cup and this and that, right? And he put some chopsticks on the side. Chinese restaurant, they put chopsticks there. One old lady telling the other old lady, I thought we came here to eat. I didn't know we came here to knit. When you see two chopsticks, them think now it's time to knit. So anyway, the Lord says, everything is woven from me. So the crochet piece, if you look really, that they make, right? That whole thing, after they finish, let us say, and you put it on the wall and you see a picture there on that crochet piece. You see a tree and you see a pasture and a fence and a cow grazing there and you see cloud and a bird flying and all that kind of thing, right? So you see a whole picture. But really at the fundamental level now, if you look, that whole picture is nothing but thread. Isn't it? You have no bird and no cow and no nothing there. There's only thread. Now, from a superficial level, when you look, you see bird, cow, cloud, tree, pasture, fence. From a very superficial level, ordinary level, you will see those things. At a fundamental level, when you see, there's nothing but thread. So how thread is fashioned into a picture. In the very same way, existence, what they call Satchitananda, is fashioned into this whole universe. Amazing how Bhagwan's power, we say his Maya, his power is his Maya, Shakti. See, all of these words you have to get clear in your head also. Bhagwan's Shakti, Bhagwan's Maya, Bhagwan Prakriti, all of these things mean the same. That will come up here just now also. So he says, all this whole universe is woven from me. Mai sarvamidam protam. Protam means otaprot. You know how you, when you take, if you look at a cloth, right? You will see threads running this way and you will see thread running. Let me say, look at a cloth well, any cloth. To make a cloth, you have to have threads running across each other, isn't it? That's called otaprot in Sanskrit. When the things run against each other like that. That's called otaprot. So the whole universe, Bhagwan say otaprot. Woven from Bhagwan. And therefore, in all things, Bhagwan alone is there now. That is what he tells. He gives examples. Before he comes back to his topic, he gives many examples now. So all these verses we are going to chant is all examples. See Lord's examples now. How he is there in all things. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Prasohama Sukham Deya Prabhasmi Shashi Yayo.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Pranavasa सखे पौरुषं दशु
श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम
पुण्यो गन्धपृथिव्यां च तेजश्चास्मि विभावसौ
श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम
जीवनं सर्वभूतेषु तपश्चास्मि तपस्विषु
श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम
बीजं मां सर्वभूतानां दिद्धि पारसनातनम्
श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम
बुद्धिर्बुद्धिमतामस्मि तेजस्तेजस्विनामहम्
श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम
बलं बलवतां साहं कामरागविवर्जितम्
श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम
धर्माविरुद्धोमुखेषु कामोऽस्मि भरतर्षभ
श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम
श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम
श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम
कृष्ण शरणं मम बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय रसो हम अपसु कौन्तेय. I told you first Bhagavan says I am everything, and now in these verses which we just chanted, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 verses. He gives examples. So everywhere we look, we should be able to see Bhagavan. Means think in our mind, oh, everything around me is God. That is why Hindus have always had respect for all things and all beings in the world. That's why Hindus have always been vegetarians also. Because we have respect for every little creature also. You will see in India, a bus load of people will be coming down, and a little animal will be on the street. Then everybody have to stop, all traffic stop, everything stop just for a little creature to cross. In this country, anybody stopping for he? He had to fend for himself. He had to fend for himself, isn't it? Nobody has stopped. You see how many dead animals on the road? In America, how many dead deer on the side of the? One lady hit a deer. So she stopped now. And the man behind he stopped too. So she come out of she car and she walk with she bag, and from she bag now, she take out a bottle of spray and she spray it with the deer. Spray it on the deer. And the deer get up. And everybody thought the deer dead, But the deer get up. And he run by the bush there and he turn around and the deer wave. And he run a little bit again more inside the bush and turn around again and wave. And he run last time inside the bush and wave and then disappear. So that man was astounded, What kind of spray is that? Let me see that spray. And he watched it there. It was written on this spray. Brings dead. It was not a deer, it was a rabbit. Sorry. Rabbit. Brings dead hair back to life and leaves a permanent wave. I said deer because I remember how people are killed deer in America. So, in this case, she didn't hit a deer. That would have cost her dearly. She hit a rabbit only. So anyway, the Hindus have always worshipped all things in nature. Have you seen? There is no thing that we have not worshipped in nature. We worship the sun. We worship the moon. We sing bhajans about sun and moon, isn't it? We worship all the nakshatra, the stars. We worship the space. Kam mano buddhi devacha. We saw right here. Kam means space in Gita. We worship the trees, people tree and tulsi tree and so many different types of trees we worship. We worship all different types of animals. We worship rocks. We worship the oceans. We go and do puja by rivers. What we have not worshipped, tell? We worship Mother Earth. When you train Dhar, worshipping Earth. Morning you're offering Jal for Surya Bhagwan. Every single thing in this universe we worship because this is what we have followed for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. What? Bhagwan is everything. So we worship everything. So here I told you now he's giving all of these examples. Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi surya yoho. I am rasa in apsu. Apsu means water. In waters. I am the taste in water. We taste anything in this world only because of water. We smell anything because of earth. We hear anything because of space. We feel anything because of air. So all taste is from water. That is why, let me give you a simple experiment. I tried it already and it works. You know what to do? All of you who have traveled abroad, right? When you eat food in Canada and America, it could never taste good like Trinidad, isn't it? When you go to Toronto and New York and Miami and all those places and you eat the same food, let me tell you, even if you carry the vegetable from here, it still can't taste the same, But you know what you have to do? Carry some water. No, I do it. After I read this thing, right? I tried it. Those days you could travel with water and things. Now you can't travel with water. After studying Vedanta or Shastras, I tried that thing because I carry in from the ashram. We have nice sahijan in the ashram. Sahijan, you know? Long stick. So, we cooking that thing in Toronto and that thing could never taste as good. Man, I full 2 jalita of water and I put them in my suitcase and I carried it. And we cook it with that water. Now you're tasting like real Trini. Because the Shastra tells us, which is so true, the taste is really in the water. That's why food has tastes different in different countries and all, because the water changes. So it's, I am that taste in the water. He says, I am the Prabhasmi Shashi Surya Yoho. I am the light and the sun and the moon. Not only that, he is the moon and sun also. Pranava sarva vedeshu shabdake paurusham shabdake paurusham nrishu. I am. The Pranava means the Om in all the Vedas. Say most important mantra in all the Vedas is Om. Om is in all our Shastras, Om is the most important mantra. I am that Om, he says. This he has started here in 7th chapter giving examples. He is the best among all this thing. This he will again continue later on. He just started here now. He will continue this in chapter 10. He'll leave it at only 5 verses. Chapter 10 he'll give a whole chapter to show his manifestations in all things. And whenever you see anything in this world that astounds your mind, that takes away your breath, anything you see that is great and grand in this world, that thing is supposed to serve to make you remember Bhagwan. I had an uncle once, I take him to see Niagara Falls. He said, way boy. He said, I don't see everything in this world already. Me, I want to see nothing again. Look at the might of this Lord, how he could make this Niagara Falls. That thing reminds him of God immediately. When you see that, the majesty and grandeur of the falls, it's supposed to make you remember Bhagwan. So like that, how your tongue could taste. And tongue could taste, and let me tell you something. Immediately when pepper lands on your tongue, you know if it's ordinary but pepper or if it's scorpion. Correct or not? Oh, I'm talking about Trini tongue, eh? People from abroad, they will know difference between but pepper and scorpion and nothing. But at Trini tongue, see how your tongue learn that. You ever teach your tongue? It had tongue school or what? Tongue school. No. But Bhagwan make that tongue so wonderful. It could taste. In Hinduism, the Shastra says that there are 6 different types of taste. And that tongue could decipher each one of them. Fast, fast. Anything you give him. 6 shadras. 6 tastes. You know all of them already. Sour and sweet and pungent and bitter and hot and all that kind of thing. Bitter and hot different, eh? Bitter is like Karela. Hot mean like pepper. Like that. Acidic and all them different type of pungent. Yeah. So like mustard oil. Woohoo! That needs to go up in your head. Take some mustard oil, go up inside your nostril up to your Brahma Randhar Chakra. Anahat Chakra, I think that's come out. So raso ham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi suryajoho pranava sarvaveshu. I am the Om in all the Vedas. Shabda K. I am the sound in space. Without space we would not have been able to hear anything. Paurusham Drishu. And in man I am manliness. A man is manifestly different from a woman, isn't it? So in woman I am womanliness. In man I am manliness. That is the idea. Punyogandha prativyamcha. I mean, nice smell in the earth. That's why nowadays, see, how long our Shastra has been telling for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Just now I told you also. We smell anything only because of the earth. All smell is there because of earth only. And see, anything you're smelling in the world, it has a scent, right? Because it has earth in it. Because all things are made up of space, air, fire, water, and earth. So because it has the earth element, you can smell it. So now modern science is telling that if you go in your backyard and you make a kitchen garden and you smell the earth, that is therapeutic. And they do years and years and years of research and they spend millions and millions of dollars to figure that out. And in Bhagavad Gita, you have free online. I get it, Gita free. Yeah, from Gita telling that thing from such a long time. We have to spend so much $1 million to figure out something which we tell you for free. Punyogandha prativyam cha tejas chasmi vibhavaso, and I am the heat in the fire. I am the heat in the fire. What is fire without heat? The main thing in the fire is heat. So Bhagavan said, I am that heat. So he is everything. Jivanam sarvabhuteshu tapaschasmi tapasvishu. I am the life in all beings. Because what is a being without life? I am the life in all beings. And tapaschasmi tapasvishu. And I am the austerity in those who do austerities. So in other words, he's pointing to the fact that Bijam Mam Sarvabhutam, he's everything. He's the seed of all beings, all things in this universe. Means the very source. Because a tree is derived from a seed. That means that's the source of the tree. So Bhagavan is the source of all things. Bijam Mam Sarvabhutam, Vidhi Partha Sanatanam. And one more thing. See, this is the answer. Vidhi Partha Sanatanam. Oh, Partha, understand, I am the eternal seed of all beings. This is the answer to the chicken and the egg. You see where the answer is in Gita? People ask, where did chicken come from? An egg. Where did egg come from? A chicken. Where did chicken come from? An next egg. Where did egg come from? A next chicken. So they ask now, so which one came first? And Bhagavan says, Sanatanam, there is no such thing as first. It has always been like that. So no matter how far you can go back, it will still be there. That first thing which people ask, that question, that is not a Hindu question, that is a Christian question. It is. Because in Christianity at one time there was nothing and Bhagavan, he's sitting, I don't know where he's sitting because there was nothing. Since there was nothing, we can't say where he was. Where he was also. Because remember, nothing means there is no space, there is no air, there is no fire, there is no water, there is no nothing. So where is Bhagavan? That question not answered. But anyway, he was there. Wherever. And then now you have to answer second question. Why he created now? You know, if he was a little bored, or a little lonely, or he didn't have nothing to do, or he finger is scratching. Why? Why he created? So you have to answer, not every question the answer there. In Hinduism there is no such thing. This universe and God means this lower Prakriti and the higher Prakriti which we are describing in this chapter, they were always there. That is called Anadi Ananta, beginningless and endless. They have always been there. And if you go back 10 trillion years, the whole universe and God was there, and you go back 10 trillion years before that, it was still there, and no matter how far you can go back, it is still there. That is called Anaditvam in Sanskrit. Anaditvam Nirgunatvat in 13th chapter, it will come again. And this is called Gyan Marg. It will come in 13th chapter. Now, Bhagavan is telling here also, alluding to that, Vidhi Pata Sanatanam. This is beginning, like Sanatanam is eternal, it has always been like that. So, that chicken came from an egg, and that egg came from a chicken, and a chicken came from an egg, and that goes back eternally. You know, first. In Hinduism, there is no such thing as first. Huh? It is called as Anaditvam, beginninglessness. Please understand this. There is a manifest difference between Hinduism and other religions. We should also not say all religions are same. They are by no means the same. People just say that, you know, to make themselves look good and all that kind of thing. All religions are never the same. They cannot be the same, and they should not be the same also. What is wrong with variety in the world? See, look here. If you believe that the world was created by God at one time, right? And my belief is, what my Shastra is telling, that this world has always been there. So, I accept you and respect you for your belief. You respect me and accept me for my belief. Then no, after that, no trouble. The problem comes when I don't respect you for your belief. Then the problem comes. The variety is no problem. The problem is the non-acceptance of the variety. I want you to be like me. That I were dumb then. If I want you to be like me, you are not dumb, I were dumb. Why I should want you to be like me? That means to say I have an insecurity in my heart and I feel only if you come like me then everything will be okay, isn't it? I am not secure being me by myself. I want you also to be like me. But a real healthy human being is one, if I accept you for what you are and I respect you and I allow you to your freedom, you worship how you want, do what you want, believe what you want, and I accept you for that. You do it. That is called a true mature human being. This is a mature Hindu standpoint. So, there is a natural variety in the world, in every regard, in every respect, in all departments. It is, we didn't make it. You made any of this variety or what? Anybody here founded any variety in this world? We found it, not founded it. We found it like that, isn't it? So we respect it and we let everybody follow what they follow. So, Bhagavan is saying, I am that eternal seed of all things, and all things have always been there with deep, Sanatanam there. Buddhir buddhimatam asmi, tejas tejas vinamaham. He said, I am the intelligence in the intelligent people. If you see anybody with intelligence, I am that intelligence. Tejas tejas vinamaham, and I am the brightness and sharpness in a bright and sharp person. Like that. Tejas balam balavatam chaham kamaraga vivarjitam. I am the strength and the power in the powerful. That strength and power which is devoid of likes and dislikes and all desires and cravings and longings and all. I am the strength in that person. Dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. And I am desire in all beings, but those desires which are dharma aviruddhaha. Those desires which are not against dharma. I am desire in all human beings, but I am the desire which is not against dharma. This is the most wonderful thing. You have to give some thought. Bhagavan is here at a very ordinary level, limiting the things which he says he is. Later on, he is not limited. He said, I am everything. Here he is giving the mind nice guidance. Okay. Now, after he has given all these examples, I told you, just now he was telling me he is everything. And then he gives these examples. Now he changes the topic. And this topic which he leaves out here, in this 7th chapter, I told you he'll pick it up again in a few verses in 9th chapter, and then in the whole of the 10th chapter, he will come back to this topic. So that your mind will all the time be on the Lord. When you watch, like for example, you see anything nice and pretty, oh, look how my Bhagavan has manifested as this nice, pretty thing. Anything you see. How the Lord is manifesting as more and more nice things every day for us, isn't it? Yes. Long ago, they used to have, when you want to make a phone call, you had to go out in the road, they have a phone booth. And most of the time, that thing never work in. So when you put your 25 cents inside it, it's still your 25 cents. Right? So you used to hit the machine, damn, like this. And well, your 25 cents gone for sure that time. Now look, people have cell phone, smartphone, isn't it? How the Lord is manifesting as more and more nice and new things. Amazing. So, when you send a letter, when we ancestors came here, they used to send a letter to India, to their relatives, right? That letter used to take 6 months one way. After 1 year, you get a reply. By the time a reply reach here, your relative died there. Isn't it? Or you die here. Then the reply come. But now look, see email. In 1 second, that thing on other side of the earth. Amazing thing. So the Lord is manifesting us in so many more new things. And this is just the tip of the iceberg, you know. He's manifesting us so many countless things. Now, how he does it, that one question will be there. It will be there in the mind of any good student. Just now he said, I am all of this, right? Through my lower prakriti and my higher prakriti coming together, I manifest this whole universe. But how it is done, that power by which the Lord does that, that power is called his power of Maya. His Shakti, energy, prakriti, like that. It is his power of Maya. So, that power of Maya is now being described. By what power does he manifest this universe? It's called the power of Maya. Now, what is this Maya made up of? Now, he himself tells. See this thing. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Ye chaiva satika bhava rajasastamasashtaye.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Mattahe veditan vidhi narvaham teshu te mayi.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Tvebhir gunamayair bhaver मम माया दुरत्यया
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama
मामेव ये प्रपद्यन्ते मायामेतां वदन्ति ते
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama
श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam
ये चैव सात्विका भावाः राजसास्तामसाश्च ये मत्त एवेति तान् विद्धि न त्वं तेषु ते मयि. He says, ये च एव सात्विका भावाः. Now these three bhavaः is satvika bhavaः means these three qualities. What? Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic. They are what make up Maya. And that is the third verse which Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratya. Mama Maya Gunamayi. Mama Gunamayi Maya. My Gunamayi. The Maya which is made up of three gunas. Maya is made up of three gunas. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. This is the first thing you have to understand, right? So Bhagavan Shakti or his power is made up of three gunas. The power by which he manifests this whole universe, his inherent power, inherent Shakti, intrinsic Shakti is Maya. That Maya is made up of three gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. He said, Matta eveti tan vidhi. From me only these three things ensue. But natvam teshu te mayi. But I myself am not sattvic, rajasic or tamasic. It means to say, I have these three powers, but I myself am not sattvic, rajasic or tamasic. But that is an amazing thing. How you could have something and not be affected by that thing. That is exactly, see, the cobra have poison inside of him or not? But the poison has killed him? The poison has affected him in any way? So here we have a simple example in nature, where something in nature has a certain power, he has power to kill you. That cobra, isn't it? He has a certain power inherent in him, but doesn't affect him in any. And one little snake asking him, he said, Ma, he said, we are poisonous variety of snake. I mean, venomous variety or non-venomous? He said, Beta, we are non-venomous variety of snake. He said, thank God, I just bite my tongue. now he afraid that if we are a venomous variety of snake and he bite his tongue, he think he are. But no, the snake, that poison doesn't do anything to him. In the very same way, Bhagwan, who has that inherent power of Maya, which is made up of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, he himself is not in any way affected by that Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So Bhagwan is neither Sattvic, Rajasic, nor Tamasic. But all of us are. Right? We are Sattvic, Rajasic or Tamasic. Some people very Sattvic. Some people very Rajasic. And Tamasic, well, Bapre. That is the most predominant, preponderating guna in the whole world. Tamas. So Bhagavan says, these three qualities, they ensue from me, but I am not in them. Means I myself am not affected by them. Trivir gunamayair bhavaihi evi sarvamidam jagat. The whole universe is made up of these three gunas, made by my power out of me with these three gunas. So everything is sattvic, rajasic and tamasic put together. And everything must have all three. When we say somebody is mostly sattvic, he still has to have a little bit of rajas and a little bit of tamas. Little bit is required. That's why I see the old people long time, and they put some nice sattvic dal and rice and bhaji. Sattvic food, right? But you must have a little chutney there, On the side, you got a little chutney, a little chalta achar, mango achar, a little, this, pickle, a little pepper, little bit. But a little bit increase until they make pepper chokha. Eh? They leave all the baigan and tomatoes and they only make pepper. It's supposed to be a little bit only, because we require a little bit. You see? Of all of them, you must be there. Sarvamidam jagat mohitam na vijanati mamevya paramavya. This Sattva, Rajas and Tamas cause all people to become deluded. We become deluded in this world and we don't know God. Means we are taken up with all the... See, because when Sattva, Rajas and Tamas come together, right, these three of them, they make nice pretty thing. Like, see this space here. This space pretty or ugly? Well, it neither pretty nor ugly, because just space, right? It doesn't have any so much, what you call manifestation, gunas, qualities, shiny, this, that, flashy, attractive, nothing. It is just there. But when the three gunas come together and make nice, flashy, attractive things, then the whole world start running after these attractive things. And then the whole world becomes deluded, running, the whole life gone, and they didn't catch anything. Then like when a butterfly, you sit down on that genda flower there, you're gone, he's gone to the next flower. You're gone there now. He gone to the next flower. And whole day you run here and you catch no? But this is the nature of this world. Sant Mahatma log kehte hai कि ये जगत वैसा ही है. This world is like that only. You try to catch this, and you only... I learned this lesson long time, When I small, Rongvi house there, where I grew up, we had a lot of lagoon, rice fields. Lagoon, right? So, one bird, nice pretty bird, I don't know where collie bird, but he sit down on this side of the rice field. So I ran to catch him. He fly and gone and sit down on the other end of the rice field. Big rice field, eh? So I run from this end to the other end to catch him there now. When I reach there, he fly and come back this side. And he waiting for me to come back. He come back here. I run back here. He gone back there. A whole day I run up and he flying there in 1 minute I waiting. 1 minute he taken to reach there, less than a minute. And I taken so many minutes to run from one end of the lagoon to the other end. But I realized, but wait now. But I can't catch this bird. He go have me running my whole life. After that I stopped running after a bird. And stop running after. But this is how we run in this world. And if you really add up in the end, what you get? You really didn't get? And the only thing we will ever get, Mahatma Lok say in this satsang, you will get Atma Gyan. That thing will take you to Brahman. That is the only thing worthwhile. I says, Sarvamidam Jagat Mohitam. The whole world is deluded. Na vijanati mamebhya paramavya. They will never know my higher nature. They are so taken up with all these flashy manifestations of Maya. Maya, everything Maya manifests is so attractive, isn't it? So taken up with all of this, we never know Bhagavan. We remain in delusion. Whole life after life after life. Devi hesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya. This is a very famous verse. Mami eva ye prapadyanti, and this is where I told you last night how Bhagavan introduced Bhakti Yoga in this 7th chapter. Here very clearly he says, the people who take refuge in me, mam eva ye prapadyanti, those who take refuge in me, the Lord is saying, those people will cross over this Maya of delusion, M-I-R-E, Maya of delusion, or Maya. Those who take refuge in me. My Maya, he says, Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya. My Maya is divine. But its purpose is delusive. To delude people. Not its purpose, but that's what it does. It dilutes. So the Lord Maya cause all flashy things to look so, oh, nice pot, man. Where you get that? Jai Ganga Maya. Har Har Mahadev. Har Har Gange. See, you say, when you see that thing looking good, and if you put a little brasso on it, it will get real shiny and nice. And you don't check it out long time and see which part of your house it go fit. You see? So it's attractive. Things in the world, you know. Samji, where you get a nice computer? You know, why is I have a computer? I want to buy one like that, you know. Like that. Everything in the world, attractive. Running after this, running after that. So, the only person who will come out from this world, he says, the one who takes refuge in me. Because my divine Maya is not so easy to cross over. In Narad Bhakti Sutra, Narad asked this question, Kastarati Mayam. Who crosses over this? Maya. Who will cross over this Maya? Bhagwan's answer is the one who takes refuge in him. Then Narad gives like 19 answers. Mahanubhavam sevate. Who drops everything in this world and serves the Guru, serves the Mahatma and all that kind of thing. He gives nice answer there. In Narad Bhakti Sutra, very nice portion is that. Very wonderful portion to study. But Bhagavan gives one simple answer here. Who will cross over his Maya? The one who takes refuge in God. It is Bhakti Yoga. Taking refuge in God. Okay. We shall see this from tomorrow. We'll continue from there. Alright.